Jo, Leute, herzlich willkommen zu einem weiteren Video auf meinem Kanal. Und ja, Leute, heute machen wir mal etwas, was wahrscheinlich ein bisschen komisch wirkt auf den ersten Blick. Denn ich werde heute auf ein Video reagieren, aber halt ohne irgendwas, was man halt von mir sieht. Weder Facecam noch Handcam. Deswegen, es könnte ein bisschen komisch werden, aber als ich das gesehen habe, muss ich sagen, dass ich extrem sauer wurde. Denn, für manche Leute, die es nicht wissen und nicht in meinen Streams dabei sind, ich habe mich in letzter Zeit ein wenig mit Speedrunning befasst und auch selber ein bisschen gespeedrunnt, minder erfolgreich. Aber dann, ich war heute ganz gechillt auf meiner YouTube-Seite unterwegs und kriege ein Video vorgeschlagen mit dem Namen Der größte Cheating-Skandal in der Speedrunning-Geschichte. Wo ich mir so dachte, okay, gehen wir doch mal drauf. So, und als ich das Video irgendwie, ich glaube, ich habe das Video irgendwie so bis hier so gesehen. Und dann dachte ich mir so, okay, weißt du was? Nein, ich gucke mir das im Stream an und mache daraus ein Video. Also, ich werde ein bisschen was schon von diesem Video wissen, aber wir gehen einfach rein in das Video. Also, viel Spaß.
Hello, you absolute legends. Speedrunning has changed. Back when I began this hobby, the most notoriety you could ever hope to achieve was having your name printed in the high score section of a magazine. Of course,
Das gab's mal? Wie cool.
no one else would care, but it was cool nonetheless. Speedrunning websites were far too niche for anyone but the speedrunners themselves to even know they existed. No one knew what speedrunning was, no one cared what speedrunning was, and outside of the small group of people you competed with, there was no popularity to be gained.
Klar.
Nowadays, the biggest speedrunners have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers. I personally think this is a great thing, and I love the fact that something I've enjoyed for many years is starting to gain traction in the wider gaming community. But increases in popularity don't just bring positive changes. There are catches that need to be considered and addressed. Cheating has always existed in speedrunning, as it has in every competition, but in the past it was just something that was addressed within communities, and there was no public spectacle about it. When a speedrunner with 14 million subscribers gets accused of cheating by a community, it's a big deal, whether you want it to be or not. The YouTuber Dream has the biggest following in speedrunning history, and on the 12th of December, one of his Minecraft speedruns was removed from the leaderboards under the assumption that it was achieved while cheating. More specifically, he was accused of modifying his game to give himself increased luck. Dream, for his part, completely denies these allegations, assuring his fanbase he is innocent. Many people are confused about who to believe. Understandably so, as the crux of the original argument stemmed from complex mathematics and
check's immer noch
unimaginable
nicht. Wie
numbers
gesagt, ich habe ja
like
schon ein
1
bisschen
in
was davon
7.5.
gesehen. Wie gesagt, ich habe ja schon ein bisschen was davon gesehen, aber Digga, ich check das immer noch nicht, was ich da sehe.
5 trillion. The simple reality is that most people will not, and likely cannot, understand the evidence being put forth by both parties. Many people have jumped to their own conclusions, which is typical human behavior, but many people are also unsure and are unwilling to make a judgment either way. A lot of people perceive me to be an expert in this area, and are curious as to what my conclusion might be. Well, in this video, my conclusion is what you're going to get. Unlike many other channels who covered this scandal as soon as it broke, I specifically waited to hear both sides of the story before even attempting to pass judgment. Too many times people have been destroyed by allegations that ended up being completely dismantled by the defending party. Patience is a virtue, and it's not one that many possess. Even if the conclusion doesn't change, people deserve the right to present their case. In this video, I want to do 3 things. Summarize the evidence of both sides, explain how and why something like this might happen, and provide my thoughts on whether or not Dream is guilty based on my own research. I hope you enjoy. Asking, who is Dream? Dream is an extremely popular Minecraft YouTuber who exploded.
Und das, was ich gerade gesagt habe, ist dieses Manhunt, das zum Beispiel.
in popularity over the past 2 years, going from nothing in early 2019 to currently having around 15 million subscribers. Dream did not find success on YouTube through speedrunning, but instead created popular videos that were either funny or covering interesting topics, whether that would be explaining Minecraft mechanics or modding the game to create cool effects. By the end of 2019, he had already started amassing a huge audience, pulling in millions of views per month. But Dream didn't truly shine until 2020, where his channel exploded. Part of his success was due to a new series he started producing called Minecraft Manhunt. He marketed the videos with titles like Minecraft Speedrunner vs Assassin, and the premise is that he attempts to speedrun the game while being hunted by one or more human players. I think this type of marketing strategy is really good for speedrunning as a whole, as it's important to remind people that speedrunners are legitimately skilled at the games they choose to play, even outside of trying to beat games quickly. In March,
das, was man da gerade gedorft hat, genau. Das, was man da gerade gedorft hat, sehen. Ne? Macht Sinn. Das Dorf, was man da gerade gesehen hat, war ja so ein verlassenes Dorf. Ich sag's so, wie es ist, ich habe in meinem gesamten Leben noch nie so ein Ding gefunden.
Dream started submitting official speedruns to the speedrun.com leaderboards, even attaining multiple world records. It's fair to say he is extremely knowledgeable and talented at the game. On the 23rd of June, something very important happened. Java Edition 1.16 was released. On the Minecraft speedrun leaderboards, you will notice that the leaderboards are split into 3 sections: pre-1.9, 1.1.15, and 1.16 plus. The reason each category splits these versions into different leaderboards is that the strategies that can be applied are vastly different depending on the version you play. Whenever a Minecraft update is released, it may affect a core mechanic that might enable better, faster strategies. And in the case of 1.16, this is exactly what happened. Now, players were able to barter with the neutral mod.
Oh Gott, wenn ich die Jungs wiedersehe, Alter, ich krieg ganz dolle Anfälle. Ai.
Mobs in the Nether called piglins. Piglins love gold, and when you give a piglin a gold ingot, it will return the favor with a random item. There are many items a piglin can give you, but when it comes to speedrunning, we are only interested in one particular item, and that item is ender pearls. In order to understand why ender pearls are so important, we need to know the end goal of the game. In order to beat Minecraft, which is obviously the point of these speedruns, we need to defeat the Ender Dragon.
Imagine, du spielst Minecraft, du speedrunst Minecraft und willst das Game nicht durchspielen.
The Ender Dragon
Also
resides
gibt's
in
auch,
a
aber
separate dimension that can only be accessed through the End Portal. In order for an End Portal to be active, each of the 12 surrounding blocks need to be filled in with an item called Eye of Ender. Eyes of Ender can only be obtained through crafting, and in order to craft an Eye of Ender, you need 2 items, an Ender Pearl and Blaze Powder. So without being bogged down in the specifics like food management and the collection of tools, etc., the aim of a speedrun is to acquire Ender Pearls and Blaze Powder, craft Eyes of Ender, find an End Portal which is located in a stronghold, enter the End, and defeat the Ender Dragon. This is why 1.16 was so game-changing, as collecting Ender Pearls through barters with piglins is much faster than the previous strategies. There is a catch though. When you give gold to a piglin, the odds of them giving you Ender Pearls is only 4.7%.
Bei normalen Menschen ist es so. Bei mir wären es dann so 0,5%.
These odds aren't great. They are slightly improved by the fact that you can barter with multiple piglins, but ultimately, many runs ended right here because the piglins refused to cooperate. If you do get lucky, you can save a bunch of time, which is why the world record with 1.16 is 5 minutes faster than the previous versions. But if you don't get lucky, there is nothing you can do but reset and try again. Minecraft was already heavily dependent on luck factors, and this new mechanic just made things much worse. Players would spend days or weeks without finishing a single run.
Ach ja, ach ja, ach ja. Ach ja. Ich habe immer noch keine Runden gesetzt. Schade drum.
Because they simply couldn't get the Ender Pearls from piglins. On top of this, you also needed to get lucky and find a fortress within the Nether.
Auch nicht gefunden bisher.
The fortress is a necessity because it houses blaze spawners, which spawn blazes. When you kill a blaze, it has a 50% chance of dropping a blaze rod.
Ja, und wenn ich dann doch meine Festung finde, dann ist diese Chance nicht bei 50, sondern bei 10.
Remember blaze powder? One half of the ingredients required for Eyes of Ender? You get it from blaze rods. So the Nether is a very special place in 1.16. You get ender pearls from piglins and blaze rods from blazes, both essential ingredients to creating Eyes of Ender. The Nether was also a frustrating place, and many players voiced their dissatisfaction about how much RNG the new runs needed, including Dream, who lamented about his lack of luck. But thankfully, Dream's luck was about to change.
Halt's Maul! Diese Stimme, Alter. Diese Stimmlage gerade eben, die werde ich kein zweites Mal hinkriegen, Alter. Ich war, keine Ahnung, in meinen 70 Runs war ich irgendwie 10-mal im Nether. Hab eine Festung gefunden.
Several months later in October, Dream would stream his attempts at speedrunning 1.16. He performed 6 streams totaling 24 hours of speedruns, concluding with a new personal best of 19 minutes and 25 seconds. Dream's streams were incredibly popular, with tens of thousands of spectators. And it wasn't just casual viewers, but speedrunners as well. One such speedrunner was Minecravenger, who holds the world record in the any percent set seed category. Minecravenger is very experienced with the game, and noticed something strange about Dream's streams.
Streams.
Dream seemed to be experiencing very high luck, and was getting pearl trades much more often than you would expect. After noticing this discrepancy, he went through every stream and collated the data for every trade that was visible. His findings showed that instead of trading pearls at a rate of 4.7%, piglins were trading pearls at a rate of 15%.
Also ist ja schön und gut, dass er das gemacht hat, weil sonst wäre das wahrscheinlich nicht so schnell aufgefallen. Aber wie wenig muss diese Person im Leben zu tun haben, dass sie sich alle 24 Stunden anguckt und alle Trades aufschreibt. Ja.
3 times higher. Minecravenger tweeted out his findings, which slowly but surely began to stir doubt among players and moderators alike. If the data was true, this was extremely concerning, as consistently getting trades at this higher rate is so improbable that there could only be one explanation: tampering with the game. The Minecraft speedrunning moderators immediately began their investigation. They needed to be absolutely sure that the raw data was correct. You can't form a reliable conclusion using incorrect numbers. They needed to track every trade over a 24-hour period, and they needed to do this multiple times to make sure there were no mistakes. The final tally was 42 Ender Pearl trades out of 262 total trades, which amounts to an average Pearl trade rate of 16%, more than 3 times higher than normal. The probability of getting this many trades is 1 in 177 billion. This is already...
Ach komm. Ach ja. Ja, ist klar. Alles ist klar. Alles ist klar, Digga. Ja, okay.
Already incredibly strange, but the rabbit hole was about to get much deeper. Given that doubt had begun surrounding the legitimacy of Dream's runs due to these improbable events, people started to investigate other random elements. Do you remember the 2 items we needed to collect to create Eyes of Ender? The first were Ender Pearls, and the second were Blaze Rods. When the data surrounding the drop rate for Blaze Rods was collected, it showed that Dream collected 211 rods out of 3.
Das sind ja ca. 70%, ne? Also ich bin mir nicht komplett sicher, aber es müssten so ca. 70% sein.
305 Blaze Kills. This totals just shy of 70%. Given that the standard drop rate for Blaze Rods is 50%, the probability of having this many drops is 1 in 113 billion. It just...
Das ist nicht sein Ernst. Ich muss mal ganz kurz was nachgucken. Steht hier irgendwie in der Beschreibung so, meine Zahlen stimmen nicht zu 100%.
So happened that the very 2 items you needed to collect in order to reach the end were dropped at almost impossible rates. When combined, the probability of this happening is 1 in 20 sextillion.
Das ist ein Joke, oder? Das, also... bin abgefuckt. Ich bin hart abgefuckt. Einzige logische Erklärung in diesem Fall ist, dass er diese eine Person ist. Also wir können da wirklich nichts gegen sagen. Nein. Obvious. Das Mann, Digga, warum?
This number is so large, or small, however you want to look at it, that it is totally and utterly incomprehensible. The moderation team proceeded to spend 2 months investigating and confirming.
Digga. 2 Monate haben die sich diese Daten angeguckt. Immer wieder neu gemacht. Immer wieder alles neu ausgerechnet. Oh Gott, Digga.
These probabilities. Statistics is a complicated field, and there are some unintuitive pitfalls that can lead to some biased conclusions. They wanted to be certain that if they did suggest Dream had altered his drop rates, they had very, very good evidence. On the 12th of December, the moderation team released a paper outlining their calculations and conclusion, which was
Einfach eine Doktorarbeit über seine Speedruns geschrieben haben die Boys. For real, die haben einfach eine Doktorarbeit über seine Runs geschrieben, Digga. Hier. P in Klammern K, Semikolon P, N, Klammer zu, gleich, Klammer auf, N durch K, Klammer zu, P, hoch K, Klammer auf, 1 minus P, Klammer zu, hoch N minus K, Digga.
was accompanied by a video uploaded to YouTube by one of the moderators, Jooooooooo. The paper stated that the only sensible conclusion that can be drawn is that Dream's game was modified in order to manipulate the barter and drop rates. In their calculations, they provided a final probability of 1 in 7.5 trillion.
Das ist 1 Trillion. Und wenn man hier, das hier, mit nicht 1, sondern 7,5, ist die gesamte Chance, mit allem drum und dran, die Dream hier erfüllt haben soll? Wahrscheinlich, oder?
This is already unlikely, but it's also slightly misleading. This figure was the probability that anyone in the Minecraft speedrunning community would ever get luck in any variable that was comparable to Dream's. The actual probability of Dream getting this luck in the specific way he did was far, far lower. In conjunction with the release of their paper, the Minecraft moderators also removed Dream's speedrun from the leaderboard. This caused a huge public reaction, with many YouTubers covering the story, and the video uploaded by Jooooooooo amassed millions of views. This forced Dream to respond, which he did. On the 23rd of December, Dream uploaded a response video, accompanied by a report written by an anonymous third party Dream had hired to review the moderators' findings. In the video, Dream claimed that the moderators were wrong, and that the actual odds were much lower.
Gib's einfach zu.
The figure provided in the document was 1 in 100 million. However, again, this wasn't the
Machst es besser? Nein.
probability that Dream got this lucky, it was the probability that anyone got this lucky ever. But Dream's expert didn't just extend the scope to speedrunners, which is what the original paper did. This new report considers that if 100,000 people played Minecraft, there is a 1 in 100 million chance that a single person would ever get that luck. This response paper was not received well by those with a background in math or statistics.
Nochmal, macht's das besser, dass es dann 1 in 100 Millionen ist? Nein.
Numerous critical and basic errors were cited, but at the end of the day, I don't think arguing about math will get us any closer to the truth. The Minecraft moderators stand by their original calculations and claim that the math Dream's expert put forth is incorrect. So where do we go from here? Luckily, there is a way we can make further progress to confirming the true odds. Now, we are going to look at simulations.
Oh, das könnte spannend werden.
If you wanted to know the true probability of certain insane luck factors occurring in Minecraft, you might think we would have to play Minecraft for trillions and trillions of years and tally the results. But luckily, this isn't a requirement. The mechanics of Minecraft are governed by code, and code is all you need to accurately simulate particular outcomes. Dream played 24 hours of Minecraft and totaled 262 trades with piglins and 305 blaze kills. It might take a human 24 hours to do this, but a computer can run the exact same underlying code literally millions of times per second. Ultimately, we can, and have, run trillions and trillions of simulations to see what kind of drops we could expect.
What the fuck? Der Typ. Also, wenn ich es richtig verstanden habe, dann hat der Typ Simulationen durchlaufen lassen, wo er genau die Drop Rates, die Dream hatte, in den Computer eingegeben hat, in den Code geschrieben hat, das dann durchsimuliert hat, über Trillionen Male, um eine Drop Rate rauszufinden. Um rauszufinden, wie nah man dem kommen kann.
So the question is, after trillions and trillions of simulations, do we see the type of luck that Dream experienced? The answer is no. In fact, it's not even close. There are many different simulations being run by many different people, and not a single one has come anywhere near the types of rates.
Das ist der Graph. Das hier sind Dreams-Daten. Und das sind die von dem, ne? Genau. Das ist ja wirklich nicht annähernd. Digga, hier müsste, ach du Scheiße.
That Dream experienced. For all intents and purposes, it is impossible to replicate what happened. The results of multiple simulations have also been cross-checked with the same math used by the moderators to find Dream's odds, and they agree with the results. This means that figures such as 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million, or even 1 in 100 million are demonstrably false. Now, before I proceed to my conclusion, I need to address the question of why a good player might cheat.
Es hat nichts damit zu tun, wie gut du in dem Spiel bist, wenn du Speedrunnen möchtest, Bro. Du musst halt vor allem in Spielen wie Minecraft einfach Luck haben, okay? Nicht in jedem Spiel, aber in Minecraft musst du einfach Luck haben, Digga. Und du spielst, also ein Speedrunner cheatet nicht, um eine bessere Zeit zu bekommen, sondern halt einfach, um nicht so lange zu brauchen. Das ist das, was ich gelernt habe bei Cheatern, zum Beispiel in Super Mario. Das ist das, was ich gelernt habe.
Many people suggested that because Dream was good, there would be no reason for him to cheat. But the distinction that needs to be made is that speedrunning is not just about skill. It's also heavily reliant on luck. And it doesn't matter how good you are, if you don't get the luck you need, you simply can't get the time that you're truly capable of.
Vor allem halt in solchen Games, wo du halt bestimmte Sachen brauchst.
In my experience, when it comes to luck-based games, players don't cheat to get a faster time, they cheat to get a time faster. In order to understand how slight increases in probability affect the investment required when grinding for a time, I will use an example for something that I did myself. The most famous world record I ever achieved was a time of 52 seconds on Damn Agent in GoldenEye 007. Hundreds of people have 53 seconds, but I am the only one with 52. But that's not because I'm the best player. In fact, there are quite a few players out there that would be capable of achieving 52 seconds. The reason I have the time and no one else does is because I'm the only person that has put in enough time to get the required luck you need. The main issue is that in order to get 52 seconds, you likely need 3 guard boosts, but each of them is pretty rare. It is so rare that I can only recall getting all 3 boosts in a single run a total of 3 times in 250 hours of play. 250 hours is a long time to play the same minute-long level over and over again. If it were a full-time job, it would take 6 weeks to match, and that's not including time spent researching strategy optimizations. Now, let's say I doubled the chances of one of those 3 guards boosting me forwards. The resulting probability would still be very small, and honestly, probably wouldn't ever be detected by anyone watching. But it would ultimately make a huge difference on how much time I would need to spend playing. Instead of playing for 250 hours, I may have only needed to play 125 hours. If I doubled the chances of all 3 guards boosting me, I may have only needed to play just over 30 hours. And again, doubling a tiny number still results in a tiny number, but it has massive implications over many runs. Let's assume for a moment that Dream did increase the Ender Pearl barter rates. How much time did he ultimately save? Well, given that there are multiple barters per run, the increased odds compound very quickly. On average, in order to get the same barter luck as Dream, you would need to play between 300 to 900 hours. And this is before even considering the increased drop rates for blaze rods. Hundreds of hours is a long time. But this is what Minecraft speedrunners put into the game in order to get the crazy times they do. Hundreds of hours is a big investment for anyone, but for someone like Dream especially, I would guess many of you have no idea how absurd the monetary value of those hours actually is. People might ask, why speedrun at all, if you don't want to deal with the randomness? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that speedrunning is fun. While many people don't enjoy the lottery aspect, almost every other element is fantastic. Video games are fun to play, and not everyone is going to be an esports pro. Speedrunning gives us a way to compete in a casual and fun way. The luck element is likely the worst part, and many people who still enjoy speedrunning just don't want to deal with it. Now, it is time to finally find out. Did Dream actually cheat? I have spent the last few weeks engrossed in this entire scandal. I have read the reports, conversed with experts, listened to the interviews, read the Reddit posts, and many people were sending me pieces of information because they knew I was going to make a video. Most of the issues people expressed to me, in my opinion, were distractions or based too heavily on emotion.
Digga, diese Musik ist einfach geil. Habe ich schon mal gesagt? Falls nicht, die Musik ist geil. Das gesamte Video über.
I don't really care what people's opinions on Dream is. I'm not as concerned with questionable decisions Dream might have made, both in the past and in response to the cheating allegations. I also don't care to make people feel a certain way towards Dream after this video. Regardless of what I think, you should ultimately decide your own values and act accordingly. I wasn't a Dream fan, nor did I watch his content. But in my investigation, I watched a few of his videos and they were very entertaining. I completely understand why he is popular. And if anything, I see his success as an inspiration on what can be achieved. I also want to become more successful on YouTube, so it's a really good example of what's possible. But ultimately, all I can do is look at the facts. The Ender Pearl barter rates and Blaze Rod drop rates in Dream streams are for all intents and purposes mathematically impossible. Dream and his anonymous expert may beg to differ, but unfortunately, their conclusions do not match with the trillions and trillions of simulations that have already been performed. The math that the moderators put forth does match with these simulations, however, making them more credible. But aside from the raw math, the fact that Dream experienced these increased rates in the perfect way to benefit a speedrunner makes it even more damning.
Ja, das kommt ja auch noch hinzu, dass er halt genau die beiden Sachen, die man dafür braucht, Minecraft durchzuspielen, so oft kassiert. Und nicht irgendwie, keine Ahnung, so 100 Mal hintereinander 4 Fleisch von einer Kuh oder so, keine Ahnung.
The very two items that were causing speedrunners so much frustration were the very same ones that were affected. On top of this, Dream's behavior doesn't help his case. Before these streams, Dream publicly complained and expressed dissatisfaction around these exact items. Afterwards, Dream was intentionally deceptive, stating that the run was only a 16th place time, when in fact it was 4th place when submitted. But
das ändert rein gar nichts.
even this is deceptive. Up until the very end, Dream's run was world record pace, entering the end portal room ahead of the world record at the time. The only reason the run ended up slower was because there weren't enough Eyes of Ender already placed in the end portal, forcing him to look for more pearls. Dream's increased luck did set him up for the world record, and he likely would have achieved it if it weren't for external factors preventing him from doing so. That same misleading tweet also falsely claimed that the investigation was about whether the run had too good luck. But the run itself did not directly impact the conclusion of the investigation. The investigation was surrounding his entire 6 streams totaling 24 hours of play. This misleading statement caused many of his fans to have the incorrect assertion about what happened. This deception can't be an accident, as Dream was exactly aware of what the investigation was about for 2 months. Lies and deception don't necessarily confirm someone cheated, but they do put into question everything they say after that point. If you publicly lie once, the next words that come out of your mouth shouldn't be trusted. Dream's response video was also misleading, but I don't automatically hold that against him. Everyone deserves the right to defend themselves, and the inaccuracies presented in the video may just simply come down to ignorance of the subject matter. Given all of the available facts, I believe the only reasonable conclusion is that Dream was playing on a version of Minecraft that had been altered in order to give himself an unfair advantage.
Weißt du, was mein größtes Problem damit ist? Er hat, Alter, durch keinen Schaden davon getragen. Wenn das irgendein recht kleiner Streamer oder YouTuber gemacht hätte. und das rausgekommen wäre, der hätte übel auf den Sack bekommen. Der hätte sich nie wieder im Internet zeigen dürfen. Hätte das, sagen wir, ein YouTuber mit der Größe von, sagen wir mal, einem Paluten gemacht. Das wäre ein ganz doll böser Backlash gewesen. Aber nach 1,5 Jahren wäre es wieder egal gewesen. Aber dann kommt halt so ein Dream an mit momentan über 15 Millionen Abonnenten. Und es juckt von diesen 15 Millionen höchstens 100.000. Und wenn der in einem Monat 100.000 Abonnenten verliert, das juckt ihn nicht im geringsten. Das juckt ihn nicht im geringsten. Also, es ist falsch zu sagen, dass er verdient hätte, seine Abonnenten zu verlieren oder sowas. What the fuck, nein. Seine Videos sind recht unterhaltsam, wie er auch schon gesagt hat. Ich habe auch ein paar gesehen. Aber das Problem, was ich halt generell habe, ist, dass für mich Leute, die halt eine hohe Reichweite haben, gefühlt einen Freifahrtschein haben für so eine dumme Aktion. Klar, Leute wie Leon Mascher haben auch über 1 Million Abonnenten. Ich frage mich zwar wie und wieso, aber trotzdem haben die Ultra Backlash bekommen. Aber das lag halt nun mal einfach fucking daran, dass ganz YouTube Deutschland ein Video dazu gemacht hat. Und ganz YouTube Deutschland ist nun mal größer als 1,2 Millionen oder 1,5 Millionen. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Aber das Ding ist, dass bei Dream, jeder kennt Dream. Und ich glaube, dass von, sagen wir, 100 Leuten, die seine Videos kennen, in der Minecraft-Szene, ihn, sagen wir, 60, 70 Leute abonniert haben. Er ist nun mal, also hier meine ich halt, auch in Deutschland, ne? Und vor allem auch in englischsprachigen Ländern. Der Typ ist nun mal fucking bekannt in der Minecraft-Szene. Und das Ding ist, ich bin kein Fan von ihm. Er interessiert mich nicht. Wie gesagt, ich habe manche Videos von ihm gesehen. Ich fand sie ganz lustig. Und das Ding ist, dass, kann jetzt jeder sehen, wie er möchte. Aber das ist meine Meinung. Das Problem ist, dass die Menschen, Leuten, deren Videos sie feiern, zu blind vertrauen. Aber das Problem ist auch gar nicht, dass die nicht dann deabonnieren oder sowas. Sondern das Problem ist, dass sie der Wahrheit nicht ins Auge sehen wollen. Die wollen der Wahrheit nicht ins Auge gucken, dass das verdammt nochmal gecheatet ist. Die glauben so sehr an ihn, dass sie sich nicht vorstellen können, dass er cheatet. Und da muss ich sagen, das finde ich schlecht. Egal wie du zu dieser Person stehst, auch diese Person ist nur ein Mensch und wird Fehler machen. Und dann musst du der Wahrheit ins Auge sehen. Ist zumindest meine Meinung.
The how and why are something that likely can never be answered definitively, unless Dream decides to share that himself. This is because there are multiple ways of achieving the same goal. In saying all of this, I am not ignorant to the fact that many people will ignore evidence and believe what they want to believe. And honestly, I don't really care about trying to persuade those people. I am mainly invested in the speedrunning community itself, and it seems to be fairly unanimous in the conclusion that Dream cheated. At the end of the day, the RNG manipulation was spotted and the run was invalidated. The public nature of the event will also likely dissuade people from trying to do the same in the future. What I will say is that if anyone is attacked for believing Dream cheated, this is likely due to malevolence. The evidence is so overwhelmingly stacked in a single direction that you cannot and should not blame anyone for coming to the only rational conclusion. Conversely, if someone wants to believe Dream is innocent, that is their right, and they also shouldn't be attacked. Conversation about this topic is great. After all, it's an extremely interesting story, but arguments over this particular issue don't seem to be worth the cost. As always, thank you so much for watching, you absolute legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Krass. Krass, krass, krass. Ich lasse es immer durchlaufen. Danach sage ich nochmal eben was dazu. Ein abschließendes Statement.
This is rigged against me. And in my favor.
Ach komm, Digga. Ach komm. Ja, hier. Ehrenbrudi. Kommen wir jetzt nochmal komplett zu einer Gesamtzusammenfassung. Ich habe zwar zwischendrin nochmal ein bisschen was zusammengefasst, aber jetzt kommen wir nochmal zur Gesamtzusammenfassung. Gut. Also, hat Dream gecheatet? Ja. Sollte man Leute, die glauben, dass Dream nicht gecheatet hat, dafür flamen? Nein, auf gar keinen Fall. Jeder soll seine verdammt nochmal eigene Meinung haben. Auch wenn mir persönlich, das sage ich so wie es ist, es schwerfällt, solchen Leuten das zu glauben. Weil ich persönlich glaube nun mal den Zahlen, die mir da hinlegen. Und wenn ich dann Zahlen sehe, wie 7,5 Trillionen? 7,5, eine Person in 7,5 Trillionen hat dasselbe Luck wie Dream. Ach, nee, Bro, nee, das glaube ich nicht. Das glaube ich nicht. Es werden, wie er gerade auch schon gesagt hat, viele Leute es ignorieren und das glauben, was sie glauben wollen. Was menschlich ist. Aber, naja. Man wird nichts ändern können. Aber passiert ist passiert. Ist jetzt auch egal. Wenn ich weiß nicht, ich glaube nicht, dass er nochmal ein Statement dazu rausgehauen hat. Falls doch, dann ist es nicht mehr auf seinem YouTube-Kanal online. I don't know. Aber darum soll es auch gar nicht gehen. Ich wollte mir das Video angucken, mal meine Meinung dazu sagen. Weil mich persönlich hat es echt abgefuckt, was da abgegangen ist. Deswegen würde ich sagen, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wenn euch das Video gefallen hat, lasst gerne ein Like und ein Abo da. Und schaut auch hier unbedingt Karl Jobst vorbei. Der Typ hat einfach dieses kranke Video abgeliefert. What the fuck. Gerne bei ihm vorbei. Erster Link unten in der Videobeschreibung. Und ja, dann würde ich sagen, bis zum nächsten Video. Haut rein und